All right, this is Someone's in the Kitchen with Dylan, and tonight we're doing $1 dinners. Where pretty much you want to feed 5 people on $5, we'll show you how. And it'll taste real good too. So tonight's episode of Samosas, you really only need all the stuff you see here. It's mostly potatoes and flour, which doesn't cost much at all. And it will fill you and your friends right up. You do it with the right seasonings, this and that, and it should taste pretty good too. You're gonna want to get your flour here. Now, I am not the best flour bread guy in the world, and a baker would probably scold me. But I'm a cook, not a baker, and it'll be good enough. No measurements, just put in a bunch. Well, this is like a kilo. I used about that much. So that's like 20% of it. Got some salt. Also, same. Don't measure it. I just kind of put in a bunch like that. That was probably 2 tablespoons at the most. The country I'm in, they sell their baking powder in these cute little packages for whatever reason. And we're going to use half of one of these, which looks like that much. What is this? 15 grams? So 7 grams. If you care, which, who does? You want to mix those dry ingredients up a little bit. And hit it with a tiny, tiny bit of oil. I have cheap oil right here because I'm broke, as you probably are too if you're watching this. I want a little bit oil in there. You want to mix it with your hand. You can do it with a fork, but it's just a lot faster with your hand until you get these little crumbles. And I could even put in a little splash more of oil. And you'll really feel it with your hands and you get the right consistency. If you put in too much oil, it'll be really a pain in the ass to roll because then it wants to stick together a bit too much. Still possible to roll it. It'll just make your day more annoying than it already is. There's that though. We're going to want to hit it with some water. Look, I still have some in here. Look at that, I do. Isn't that nice? Now, since I'm a bit of a princess, I don't like getting my hands all doughy. I'll stir most of it up with a fork first. Then I just don't have to get all that dough hands. And that's not really enough water. Let me hit it with a little bit more. And then I'll just finish it with my hands there. But this really eliminates most of all the dough that gets stuck on my fingers. So I kind of like being a little bit wasteful there with my fork. And then you want to get it all mixed together. My mix is a bit too wet because I didn't measure anything, but no fear. Just if it's too wet, let's get a touch more flour on there. If it's too dry, a little bit more water. And you'll feel it when it starts to be like bread. I think it's still a little bit too wet. It shouldn't stick to your fingers is the thing. See how it's sticking to my little fingers like that? That's no fun. That's not going to be nice to work with or cook with. Now it's getting a bit more like bread. You can kind of... And yeah, again, I'm not a bread guy. A bread guy would be like, this guy's a fool. And he'd probably be right. But I do it good enough. Sadly, my bread is always okay or at the best good. It's never amazing. So if you got your own bread guy, do that instead. But just goes to show you that if I barely know what I'm doing, then you can do it too. All right, and I'm just kneading this guy, adding a bit of flour as I need to, making sure it's not all sticky. I'm doing this first because you kind of want to, after we beat it up and knead it, it needs some time to chill so it can kind of puff back out. Now you see how my bread isn't smooth? There's all these little bumps. A bread guy will say that's a sure sign of mediocre bread. And he'd be right. Sorry, bread people. Sorry, not sorry. This is why you people have job security. This is not perfectly smooth. It looks like kind of like the moon. Bread guys frown upon this. I don't care. You want to, let it chill for at least 15 minutes. More is fine. And we're going to give it a little blanket to say goodnight. so it can do its thing. Alright, so for your potatoes, you want a big pot full of water. That's a surefire way to boil potatoes. Alright, so we're going to hit some salt into the potato water, put it on the top, and we'll peel the potatoes while we wait for it to boil. You know, potatoes. Alright, cool. So we peeled all these potatoes, and while I was at it, I peeled our carrot too, because that's always nice. We'll need these when the water is boiling later, but not right now. So right now we're going to want to make something to make our potatoes taste a little bit better. We're just going to need a carrot and an onion for that. Alright, we've got our onion. And we're going to want to chop these teeny tiny, because you don't want a big old bite of a carrot or an onion in your food. And we're going to do something similar with our carrot. Throw off the ends. Goodbye, ends. Throw them into small little slices. Now, actually, carrots and samosas are not traditional at all, but carrots are 1/3 of the primary flavor tasty things that we all like. Carrots are optional, but I just like them, and they're really not expensive at all. Now you got your veg chopped. You want to get a hot pan full of oil. You can tell how hot it is by how fast it runs up and down the pan. Got some garlic peeled. Gonna get some ginger. This is a bit wasteful the way I'm doing it. If you want to save every scrap of ginger possible, get a little spoon or the end of your knife and do it like this. I don't feel like doing all that, and ginger's real cheap. Maybe I'm just turning into a high-class society jerk. Who knows? We want to mince the garlic and the ginger. Ginger's sometimes a little bit woody. You want to go with the grain, not against the grain. For a nice, exciting ginger mince. Potatoes are cooking. Still need a lot of time. We're making our chutney. I'm going to start with some oil in each pot. I'm making 2 different kinds of chutneys with some various your grandmother's cooking pots. We're going to make it pretty much the same way, just with different fruits. I'm going to give that one half of the garlic, the other half for you. Also half the ginger for you. The other half for you. Could be a bit hotter, but it's fine. Which way does that go? I hate the stove. Alright, and then I also like a bit of chili flakes for a little bit of spicy. Anything spiciness will do. You don't need chili flakes. Just whatever. A little bit of salt to taste. Where did I put that? Here we go. A bit of salt for each of you guys. Give it a little stir. Let that sweat for a good minute each. See them sizzling there. Let them do that for a minute, get all the flavor out. This one has more chilies. Oh yeah. Probably don't want all the juice that came with these canned guys, so I'm gonna step over here, let the juice out. Those are getting sweated. You'll notice they're sweated when your whole room starts smelling like garlic and ginger real strong. That smell comes out. You don't need no one to tell you. This one's a bit more red. I threw in more chilies. I kind of like that. Too late. Whatever. It'll be good. I want to hit it with vinegar and sugar. Where's my sugar? Right here. I want to caramelize the sugar a little bit. Oh God. That happens. And the fruits are already pretty sweet. So I'm not going to put in so much sugar, but still more than you would kind of think. Well, most people put even more sugar than that in their chutney. I'm going to mix that up so it can caramelize just the littlest bit. The littlest bit. And hit it with a good healthy splash of vinegar. You can use your favorite vinegar. I'm using this one. Whatever. Ooh, that is pungent. Stir that all in there. So it's together. And pretty much we're just going to hit it with our canned fruits in question. Stir it up. And let it simmer for a real long time. And that should be chutney for days. You could probably even save this for other things. This is going to be way more chutney than we can eat tonight. You got it all in there. These peach pieces are big. Actually, this is a terrible idea. I want to chop them. I didn't know they were so big. Never mind, I'm taking out my peaches. We've gone too far. We must go back. Go back. I didn't read the can when I just threw it in there. Alright, here's the peaches the way they're supposed to be. Get that back on the heat, and we'll pretend that never happened. It'll be our little secret. Alright, now we got our potatoes boiling, still going. We got our sweated veg to put in said potatoes when they're ready. And we got 2 different kinds of chutney going. They're going to need to go for a good hour, hour and a half on a low, medium-ish heat. You can kind of just check them every 20 minutes. They'll go simmering. And there's nothing to do but maybe clean up your mess till it's ready to mix together. Alright, cool. So our potatoes are all boiled up. Drain the water out of them. The veg we sweated earlier, we're going to just scoop it into there. To our big pot of boiled potatoes. And we're just going to mash them all up with whatever mashing device you prefer. A spoon will be fine. You have a potato masher, that's good for you. I don't have one. But you can achieve the same effect with a little bit of patience. Alright, cool. So we got our mostly mashed potatoes. We're going to hit them with some seasoning so it tastes like something. We're going to want a bunch of salt for this amount of potatoes. Nice handful there, don't be shy. I just have cheapo curry powder, general brand. You can buy nice curry powder if you have money for it. Chances are if you're watching this you don't. So skip whatever. Salt, bit of pepper, whole bunch of curry powder. Mash it up. I don't know if you can see that in here. But mashed up potatoes with the spices. And you're going to want to give it a taste and make sure you put in enough salt and curry and everything before you decide you're done. Whatever taste is to your liking. But make sure they're nice and mashed. You don't want any random bland chunks of potatoes up in your samosas. Once it's all mashed, it's safe to put in your peas. Peas are an important part of samosas. Don't skip them. If you want to skip them, make something else instead. Don't make them. Get a whole bunch of peas. Cheapest frozen peas. Do not buy peas out of a can. They are poor quality and they will make you sad about your life once you try frozen peas. Get a whole bunch of them in there. However pea to potato ratio you like. I like this much for me. Also, frozen peas kind of help cool your potato mash down a little bit faster, which is nice because it'll take a minute to cool before we can actually work with it, or it'll melt your dough and be no fun at all. And let's see, is this tasty? Pretty good. I'm gonna put in a little bit more curry though. I think it wants a little bit more curry. The salt was on point. And a splash more pepper. And I'm confident that that will be a good mix now. So now you have potatoes for everyone, which is great. And when you let these cool, because it'll take quite a while, you can make your dough. In the meantime, this little baby that was sleeping here got a little bit nicer and rounder and softer, so we can work with it real good. Bam. Alright, ready to roll out our dough. Got a little bit of flour on your clean work surface. If you have a rolling pin, that's great for you. I don't. Just use any clean old bottle you got. If it's not clean, give it a wash. It'll be fine. You want to take off a chunk of dough, kind of like that big. Make it into a ball with your hands. Get it a little floury. Oops. Smush it down both ways. And just start rolling it out. I'm not the best dough guy, so people who specialize in dough will be able to do this a bit quicker than me. But that's okay. You can even, I gotta touch the dough. Feel the dough. Love the dough. Until the trick is you want it to not be too fat, because if you make it really thick, then you're going to be eating as much bread as you are potatoes, and that's not super nice in a samosa. So we got kind of a circle-y shape here. I can never make perfect circles, that's why I'll never be a pizza cook or a dough guy or a dough girl or whatever you want to be dough related. You want to cut it down the middle in half, like so. So you get two little crescent moon shapes, more or less. That's what we're looking for, because we're going to put the potato ball in the middle. We're going to wrap it up all nice. Show you later. Cool. Now we got all these little babies. They're going to chill here while we wait for our potato mash to not be hot anymore, which can take quite a while. All right. So, beautiful. We got our potato mix all cooled down. We got a hot pan of oil. We want to be pretty generous with that oil. It'll be like deep fry style. You can always bake these, but I just like fried things better. I think a lot of people do. That might not be so much of a unique personal preference. Fried shit just tastes good. What can I say? So these are all real misshapen, but it's all right because they'll still cook real good. And it is okay to not do this perfectly, because you won't even be able to tell. Mostly you gotta give it a little tuck this way. Take the corner, tuck it one way. Alright, make sure it's over there. Take the other corner, tuck it the other way, pinch it together so that it makes a little seal. And then for this part, it's like pretend it's a little pie. Tuck and roll and pinch it down, and that'll hold together in the frying pan. You want basically a pretty triangular shape when you're going for this. So the top of it is wider up here where it's supposed to be more crescent, and more of a point here where it's flat. So you can take the tuck, tuck, and tuck. Seal it all together on this little thing, and then like a little pie, just pinch it in. And they're not the prettiest things in the world, but who is? And once you got them, just lay them into your oil. It should sizzle real nice. If it doesn't sizzle real nice, take them back out, because they will not fry so good. And the fun thing about misshapen dough is you can kind of just make them fit into your pan. Do it on like medium-high heat for just 2 or 3 minutes on each side. You could go crazy and fill this full of oil, but who's got money for that? So we're going to flip them twice on each side. Throw them on a plate. You'll be good. Alright, so after a minute or two, you can tell they're to cook nicely on one side, about halfway through. So we don't have the money for a pan full of oil. Who does? Look at that, nice golden brown. That's what we're looking for on each side. Who doesn't love? Everyone loves fried bread. Sticks the nutrients in them even better. Alright. Alright, check it out. So if you don't have a lot of oil money like me, you'll notice there'll be a little bit raw in the middle, on the side where the oil didn't touch them. Just lay them like this. It'll be great. Takes a little bit. Oh, look at this one was tiny enough. Maybe if you make them tiny, it's good. Look at no middle where it's not cooked. That one's great. But these big fat ones, who doesn't like a big fat one every now and then? They're going to need a little extra love. And that's okay. Alright, so earlier I made 2 chutneys with no recipe or without knowing how. Pineapple and peach. And let's see how I did. I just kind of guessed. So, who knows? This one's actually good. It's a bit spicy. Ooh, it is a bit spicy. I'll use less chilies next time. But that's actually right on the money. I like that. What's this one? This pineapple one looking. It's not as goopy. This one gets points for looking more like a chutney. Looks more saucy. This just looks like a bunch of pineapples randomly there. Maybe I'll put it on something else. Anyways, let's taste it. Actually, also pretty good. Less chilies also, it's less spicy, but yeah, also good. I could use more liquid, because it's too chunky. But it's some pineapple juice and we're golden. Okay, sweet. Yeah, we got all this food, we got all these samosas. I made way too many potatoes, so you can eat after this for a whole nother day, even with a friend. And what did that cost us? The sack of potatoes was $2. The flour was less than $1 where I live. The peas were $2. And onions and carrots didn't cost much. That could not have been $1 for that one onion and that carrot. So we got less than $7. Food for 2 days. You want to go crazy with the sauces? We made the sauces. It was $1 or $2 per can. A little bit of vinegar, sugar, spices here and there. You got less than $10. Food for more than 2 days with a nice sauce. So, yeah, hell yeah. You want to try it? Yeah, give it a eat. You want to do the thing? I'll put a little chutney on here. Oh, yeah. Alright. Oh. Oh, good. Oh. Yeah, really good.